Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest, episode number 82. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Jay.
How's it going?
Apparently, 90% of the U.S. is buried in some sort of winter storm.
Snow
Some
day.
big
Everybody
chill.
gets a snow day. Good news, guys. You guys get to stay home today.
Yeah. If you're in a place that normally doesn't get snow and you're suddenly getting snow day, right?
Snow day. Snow day doesn't quite have the same ring to it in the pandemic as other times.
Although, you know what? Like, I mean, even though we haven't had the snow in the same way that you guys have, like, I quite enjoyed it because it used to be pre-lockdown. It would kind of, I mean, not necessarily for us because we're, working at home, but like generally speaking, it would be like, oh, you want to enjoy snow, but then it also messes you up because you can't go somewhere. Whereas now I'm like, well, now at least I can enjoy the snow. Like, I'm not going anywhere, so I might as well go outside and walk around in it.
That's true. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah. You can embrace it, right? Embrace the qualities of snow as opposed to the annoyances of traffic jams and stuff that snow causes.
I always like a pre-Christmas snow because it's a great time to go to the mall because nobody else is there. So you can get all your Christmas shopping done with like no lines, no fuss, no muss. It's just like an empty mall. Now that you do all your shopping online, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. But in the days, when you actually used to leave the house.
Pre-Christmas?
Cool. Yeah, like pre-Christmas. Do your Christmas shopping.
Isn't that when the lines are the biggest?
Not on a snow day.
Really?
Everybody's home. Yeah,
everyone's
nobody wants
home
to go
on
to
a
the
snow
mall.
Day. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I've never experienced this. I would assume that everybody would be like, well, I guess we're going to the mall because it's snow day,
No, the key is it's got to snow like a foot, so nobody wants to go on the roads.
No one wants to shovel
have like a 4-wheel drive, so you can get to the mall.
Okay, that makes sense. No one wants to shovel the driveway, and you have a vehicle that can actually weather the elements, right?
Right.
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
It's also fun to drive in the snow.
Snow's fun, man. If you can go to snow and then leave snow and forget about it once you're done with the day, it's fun.
Yeah.
Right?
My outlook on snow has changed radically. I hurt my back like 2 years ago, so I couldn't shovel the driveway. I couldn't snow plow. I couldn't snow blow. I couldn't shovel the driveway anymore. So at that point, I decided to hire a snow plow guy for the first time in my entire life. I've never had a snow plow guy because it's always like, I'm not paying somebody else to do what I can do. Yeah. Well, now that existential dread of knowing I have to plow or to snow blow or to shovel is gone every time it snows. So I just wake up and I'm like, hey, all right, beautiful outside. I can't wait for the snowplow guy to show up.
Amazing.
Highly recommended it.
I was saying before we started the podcast, Brian and I were talking, I was saying that I actually really enjoyed shoveling snow as a kid. I looked forward to it. I like the idea that like I could cut paths and like make little walls and stuff, and like it was a geometric thing that I got to mess with. I thought it was fun. I know.
I can't say we've ever had enough snow to make snow walls in the UK. I feel like the most is like a foot of snow where I'm like, oh, this is a lot of snow, and then everyone's like, ha, that's not snow. Wow.
A foot is a good amount of snow.
Yeah.
Especially once it gets like piled up and
if it's sturdy,
snowbanks.
Yeah. If it's a sturdy foot, it's a pretty good amount. When you're a kid, you're like lower to the ground, so you're like, wow, this is huge. My God.
Yeah, true.
I'm getting money shoveling snow. I also liked going to other people's houses and being like, hey, you pay me money, I will shovel your driveway or rake your leaves, because that was my video game fund.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Clever.
Yeah, I knew that would translate to more options from my video game.
That's good
purchases.
money too for a kid. Like,
hell yeah.
That's good money. Like, you could shovel a couple of driveways and get, $50, $100 easy.
Oh yeah. And like, that's a video game.
Yeah.
That's the racket that I was trying to run as a kid. Speaking of video games, what's going on, guys?
I've been. Oh, go on.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was going to probably talk about the same thing.
Actually, before that, I was going to say, what I've been playing this week, right? I know we spoke about it a little while ago, and it's kind of old now. But for me, I finally revisited it. I've gone back to playing Neo 2. But
nice,
right? Because I missed it when it first came out. Well, I didn't. I mean, I started playing it, and then I didn't have the time to play it, as is always the case with Souls games because something else happened at the same time. But I've gone back playing it exclusively in co-op. and it's a bunch of fun. Like because you can play it in because there's 2 different modes. I'd always just never bother with co-op because what I knew from Neo 1 was like you specifically summon someone in, you do a little fight, and if they die, then you get kicked out. But Neo 2's got 2 modes. It's got the regular summon mode, which is like the one where you have to use the Ochako Cup and you summon them in like you were before, or you've got Expedition mode, which you can do from the beginning with 2 other people. So it's 3-player co-op. And basically the way that it works now is that when you go in, if you go down, you have like a meter at the side, which rapidly depletes. So your teammate has to rush and get you back up. And if that meter gets depleted, you basically go back to the last shrine you were at and you have to just kind of go back again. So you don't... so that's kind of your...
Everybody collectively has to go back? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that way, the second you go down, like the rush is like quickly get to your teammate and get them up. But it's actually really
fun.
Cool. Yeah, it's really good because the thing is, I mean, I know obviously, for the purists, they're like, well, it's not as difficult. They have definitely amped up some of the scaling for multiplayer. Like there's more mobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is obviously easier because you can, like, you're in a boss fight, you go down, someone can pick you up. So there's definitely that element to it. But it's just so much fun because you go in and part of the, I think we kind of spoke about it on the show before when it was like, there's this sort of that the loot is quite daunting at first. Like early on, you haven't necessarily got a build and stuff. But when you're playing as a squad, you kind of go back and you chat about your build and you kind of got sort of different things you set up, and then like you kind of just go back out again. And it's just been like, I mean, we've only played sort of like this weekend, so I think we've done the like 4 or 5 missions, so probably about a quarter of the way through the game so far. But yeah, I mean, I was really surprised, like, because I've played a few other Souls type games where they have similar sort of summoning mechanics. I remember like Code Vein, I tried to play it co-op, and like anytime your teammate dies, they get kicked out and you have to re-invite them. And I was like, this is just not a good experience. But this was just great. Like you're just there the whole time. So the only time you have to leave is if you want to, if there's like a cutscene that specifically moves you to like a new map, you have to quit the expedition, watch it yourself, and then come back in. But outside of that, everything else is co-op.
Oh, that's interesting. That seems like a really fun way to play that game.
Can you share loot?
So you can go all the way through the single player or like the story experience with three people?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You create an expedition lobby, you sit in there, all side missions show up, all maybe, I mean, obviously you have to, like, assuming you've actually got that far, you progress through. But yeah, everything's and your progression is shared between all the different people, so you don't like lose all the stuff when you suddenly go back to your own world. So yeah, it's been great. I've been loving it.
That was really cool. Wait, you just mentioned loot. I missed it. How does the shared loot work? Or is it
so loot is still individual. So everyone just sees their own drops and they just pick up their own stuff. So you still get like overburdened with like a bajillion pieces of item. So it's kind of become the running joke that every time we come back from like a main quest, we spend like 10 minutes doing like admin where we're like, let me check the gear, let me check this, let me get rid of all these items. So I mean that can slow down the pace a little bit. But yeah, I'm just really like, it's given me that kind of, because I feel like for a while I've been like wanting to sort of have like that social gaming experience with my friends and like just sort of play like something that we can play, cooperative, like a loot grinding thing, but I don't want to play like a looter shooter. So this is just kind of given us that fix, and it's been great.
Yeah, I could see Neo 2 being fantastic as a co-op experience. Running around, really being ninjas. Yeah, that's cool.
Yes.
Are you playing on the PS5, Eric?
Yes, yeah, I am. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's recently got the patch. I'll be honest, I didn't actually notice it. I'm still playing through the preview window.
Of course.
But
would I expect anything else?
Course.
No.
Yeah, exactly. But it does have the PS5 patch as well, which I think is like you can play on the fancy resolution with the good frame rate versus you having to choose before. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know this. So you have your copy is you bought on the PlayStation 4 and moved over to PlayStation 5. And it acts as if you bought the game on the PlayStation 5?
Yeah, the only thing you have to do is that by owning the PS4 version, you have to go on the PlayStation Store and there's like a PS5 upgrade version which you can download for free. And then that is seemingly the actual game, like full size thing. But yeah, you download that version and you've got the nice upgraded one.
That system is so confusing. So many times I've been like, wait a minute, am I downloading the PS4 version of this or the PS5 version of this?
I started doing that with Neo 2. I was like halfway through, I was like, oh, maybe it's just a patch. And then suddenly it was like, the PS5 version is also 50 gig. It's like, wait, this is the whole game, isn't it? So I just canceled my PS4 download and started again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been me.
That's cool. I need to do that because I played Neo 2. I didn't finish it, but I played it on PS4, and like I've been looking to potentially like re-download that on PS5.
I've been Neo curious. The way Watts has been talking about it makes me want to play it. But then everybody says it's even harder than Dark Souls, and I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do that to myself.
It can be. So it can be harder than Dark Souls if you don't lean into the strengths that allow you to beat bosses easily. Because there is there's always avenues to take out a boss that makes it like, oh well, that's not too bad. Like, you can handle that pretty easily. But if you don't investigate how you can do that, then it can be a definite ball buster and really annoying stuff. And there's like a lot of cheesy things it'll lean into to kill you, and then you get some sort of ability that'll be like, oh, I can just slow down the timing, so I don't even have to worry about dodging all this BS.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, something crazy.
Is it best played with a guide?
I don't see, if you don't want to go up against a huge wall, then maybe you should look into like builds and stuff.
Yeah. I would definitely say like there's an element where I'm in that period where like I'm slightly looking at them just because you get to this one point where like you start the game and it's like you have your character stats, which obviously you level up when you spend your Amrita, which are like your souls. But then you also have like your skills page, and there's a skill page for every single weapon, and then for samurai stance, and for the yokai form, and then for your magic, and then for your ninjutsu. You look at all these things, you're like, where do I spend all these points? And it gets a bit daunting. You're like, what do I want to do? So I've just been like, and also because depending on the weapon, although you can change your weapons whatever you want, depending on the weapon that you want to use, it scales better with certain skills. So there's a few things where to start with, I was like, oh, I want to use Odachi. So I was like, what skills do I want to be doing, and specking into that. But otherwise, I've just kind of been winging it with the squad. It's interesting though, because I was thinking about this. It's like, you know how every single time a new Souls style game comes out, there's normally that sort of discussion that comes up in the media about, like accessibility and like, should there be like another option, like a means? Because I know that these games have always been made, and I appreciate them for that reason, have always been made to be really difficult, right? That's what these games are. Like, you want to bang your head against the wall to kind of complete them. But every single time one comes out, there is normally the sort of journalist article that pops up that's like, oh, should these games be made more accessible? Not to detract from the experience, but should there be an easy mode for them? And I was thinking about when I was playing this, I was like,
journalist mode?
The solution. Yeah, well, I mean, fair enough. But I was thinking on the flip side, like what would be a really cool thing is if all the games in the future they kept the exact same level of difficulty to give people what they want, but then give them all a co-op mode like this, because then if you want to experience it, but you're struggling a bit on your own, you just call your mates in, you just have like a bunch of fun, but then you're not detracting from the potential difficulty that these games always offer and people love.
What if I suck and nobody likes me?
Then I can't help you.
Change yourself?
Change starts from the inside.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, Souls games have had the co-op elements for a long time. Like there was, you can make a gank squad in Dark Souls 3.
True. I was always found they were a bit like different, right? Because it's always like if you die as like if you get called in and then you die, you get kicked out. Whereas I feel like having this nice experience where it's actually like I feel like the game is intended to be played. Like, well, not intended to be played, but there is the nice co-op experience. That was true.
Yeah, no, you are right. The co-op experience in Souls games is a pain in the ass on how to like make it work, and so it's not fluid and just simple. It sounds like Neo 2. It's easy to just get in and go, right?
Yeah, really easy, super easy. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I like that aspect.
Sounds fun. That sounds like a really fun way to enjoy that game.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been meaning to pick up the PS5 version. There's like a few games, like the new Mario game, the new old Mario game, 3D World just came out on the Switch, and like that Neo, the Neo remastered collection or whatever it's called on PS5. There's a few games I've been meaning to pick up.
Yeah, there's also a bunch of DLC that came out for Neo too. So I only played the base.
I think
game.
that's on that PS5 collection, right?
Yeah, it should be, right? Yeah, and I think is it 3 DLCs that they've released?
I'm not sure actually. Yeah, I saw it like mentioned, but I haven't sort of like got that far to even see what it is yet.
If only we knew somebody who was like a Neo.
If only, right?
Master.
If only we knew someone that's put something. Watson mentioned in chat how many hours? It was like 700 or something like that. If only, man.
If only we knew somebody.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I got fatigued by the enemy variety and like the same enemies basically just getting upgraded as it went on. And that annoyed me. I was like, I'm getting my ass kicked by the same freaking demon, and it's just like it's been upgraded. So it didn't really feel like major progression was happening as I was upgrading stuff. But I know I hit a certain point where it's like I got 70% through the main campaign, and then that apparently is where like a turning point happens, where like it goes further. But yeah, I didn't stick with it.
Okay, fair.
So I got an alert. I can't remember. I think it was an email. Actually, I got an email from an electronic mail, so to speak, from Capcom, saying that the new season 5 of Street Fighter 5 is starting in February.
New season.
So I was kind of surprised by that because this is a 5-year-old game. Like this game came out in 2016. So I'm like, what do they have to offer in season 5? So I started checking it out. I have this game on PlayStation 4 and on the PC. So on the PC, I went to Steam, and they're offering 4 new characters in the new season. One of them is Dan. So if anybody's like a Street Fighter fan, you'll know Dan is kind of like the joke character who was kind of making fun of the King of Fighters series. So that was one of them. So I decided to buy it because like I'm a huge fan of joke characters, and I really like Dan. So I started playing Street Fighter 5 again, and I gotta say I'm kind of addicted to it. I'm like starting to like really like dig into the combos. They have like a really cool training mode in Street Fighter 5 where it shows you the list of commands that you've input. It shows you like, here are the commands that you got to do to make this combo happen. And I've been playing on an arcade stick, which is, it's
nice.
just fun to play on an arcade stick because you move that joystick around and you're slapping them buttons, and I don't know, you're making a whole shitload of noise. It's a fun experience. And even though this game is now pretty old, it's nice that they're adding new content to it, and I've been having an awful lot of fun. It's gotten me to do a little research into arcade sticks and like what does it cost to get like a professional level fight stick, or at least like a decent level fight stick?
Like kind of buttons and stuff.
Yeah, and like what are the buttons? What are we talking about here? Like what are the difference between the different manufacturers of buttons, the different manufacturers of joysticks? And what I basically realized is they basically put like $50 to $100 worth of like joysticks and buttons into these things and then charge $200 for them.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that's so now I think I'm going to just make my own.
Yeah, you should do. I did that back when it came out on the previous thing. I bought one of the Hori ones, and I just swapped all the buttons out for Sanwas. I changed the gate from the typical square gate to an octagonal gate because I found it easier for the corners. And then I was like, it was cool.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's fun.
Is this like a thing? Building your own arcade stick?
Oh, totally, man. And
I had no idea. This is like the keyboard thing, like building your own keyboard.
Yeah, you get a lot of the same kind of brain itches are scratched with this building an arcade stick, except it's something you get to use for fun as opposed to something you got to use for Excel.
Well, on the topic of arcade stick, actually, you're obviously playing Street Fighter 5. Is it on PS5?
I'm mainly playing on the PC.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
No, they don't have a PS5 version of it out yet.
Okay. Because that was my question. Because I've got like a PS4 arcade stick, and I'm wondering whether it still works on PS5 or whether.
Yeah, the accessories this time around went pretty much like flawlessly upgraded or got moved up. So if you have like a driving wheel or a fight stick or like any kind of that kind of accessory, even headsets and stuff, all work on the PS5. The only thing that doesn't work is the DualShock 4, right? It's like they just said now you can't use the DualShock 4. You have to get the DualSense. But like, like flight sticks, arcade sticks, all that stuff, driving wheels, all that stuff, seamlessly upgraded, which wasn't the case between the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4.
Interesting. How's the netcode been on Street Fighter? So I feel like I remember when 5 first came out, I feel like they had pretty significant netcode issues. I could be.
So I'm no pro, but I believe they use something. I can't even speak intelligently about which system they use. I think it's called like robot back netcode or something like that. But you can select when you're looking for a player. When you're selecting a match, when you're searching for a match, you can select like how good the connection is. And I just put it on like max connection. Like I just make it the best connection. So they take other things like skill-based matchmaking to a lesser extent, obviously, which means that sometimes I really get my ass kicked like really bad.
Yeah.
Like 2 combos and I'm out for the count. But like I haven't had any problems with the netcode. My internet's really fucking good.
Ever since that fiber lifestyle.
Oh my god.
You added more fiber to your diet. Now you're just super regular.
You got the bits streaming through me.
Also, on the topic of netcode, that actually transitioned quite nicely because you know what else is this week? There's the next beta for Guilty Gear Strive.
Yes.
Which looks fantastic because they've got like a slightly early access window. And then I think it's public from like the end of the week. And that game I'm like super looking forward to because it's interesting to sort of see what they're doing with it because they're trying to do that thing again where they're like trying to get more people into the series. They're making it slightly more accessible. So some of the combo systems is like slightly simpler. Like for me, it's all right because I appreciate those games, but I've never been like at that upper echelon. I'm just like an average fighting game player. So for me, I'm just like, it's cool. I have heard some sort of concerns from like some people, but honestly, the game just looks fantastic. Like Arc System Works, their visual style for Guilty Gear games is just unmatched. And like that is, and that was the topic because their first beta had a bit of a shoddy netcode. And they've recently said they've gone to rollback netcode, so now they've got like the good one, which should hopefully be good.
Cool. If anybody hasn't checked out the Guilty Gear series, man, I think it's some of the most gorgeous games out there. Period. Like they're just really. Just so artistically drawn and then so well animated as well. The new one's called Strive, right?
Yes, yeah.
But you got to pre-order it, and then it's an open beta to anybody who pre-orders it. Is that correct?
I'm not 100%. I mean, definitely is if you pre-order, but I wasn't too sure whether it's also just like open to anyone. I think if you pre-order it, you get early beta access.
Okay.
But I think from the end of the week until the 21st, I think it's for everybody. I could be mistaken though. I need to double check. But
cool.
Yeah, that's the Guilty Gear series is like I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched it. There's a YouTube video. It's quite long, but they basically did like a talk at one point specifically about how they achieve their visual style, and it's super interesting to sort of like learn about like because they've kind of got this sort of flat render stuff that looks sort of hand drawn, but then the way that they simulate all the smooth frames and stuff is I can't even begin to talk about how they do it. But if you ever get the time, that video was super interesting. I'll try and find it.
Cool.
In a way, it reminds me of what they do with Ori and the Will of the Wisps, where everything looks 2D, but like it is 3D, and like every once in a while you can tell it's 3D because the camera will shift in a way that like, oh shit, this is this is 3-dimensional.
I have not played one of these. I need to check it out.
Yeah, they're real good fighting games. They're not like super well known. It's not like a Street Fighter or a Tekken that's like. Kind of broken through to mainstream popularity, but
Mortal Kombat,
they're just under that level, I think, right? Yeah, Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Very cool.
I'll link it in chat. I believe this is the video that this is a shorter version from like a big GDC panel, but that is the one that kind of talks about their style. So something to bookmark for your next toilet break.
Definitely, yeah.
Is that coming to PS5? Do you know? Is Strive coming to PS5? Is there PS4?
Yes, yeah, PS4, PS5. I think I can't remember whether it's at the actual PS5 version or whether there's like an update later. But yeah, PS5 as well.
I guess it doesn't matter if it runs fine on the PS4 and it looks like that.
Yeah.
Like what's this generation? The line between this generation is a little fuzzy for me. Like a lot of times, like they just released the God of War patch. The 2016 version of God of War got patched to be 60 FPS. And I booted it up for a half a second. Just, I've already played through that game, so I didn't want to just start a new save. But man, it looks fucking good. Running at 60 FPS.
Yeah, that game looked really good on PS4 also.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I finally completed it at Christmas time, right? And I was like, if I had waited another month, I could have played it on PS5. But not that it really matters because, as you say, it looks great on PS4 anyway. So
Yeah. Plus, you're playing in the window, so
Exactly. True.
Hey, so what's happening with Bowser's Fury and all that?
Oh my god, this game is like the biggest thing Nintendo's done in a while.
Yeah.
I was looking at the UK sales charts. This thing got linked to me, and this is a remake, right? This is a remake of a Wii U game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is the number 1 selling game right now, bar none. And it only beat Animal Crossing: New Horizons.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's a 7-year-old game. This came out in like 2015 or 2016. No, it came out in 2013.
Yeah, quite a while ago. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I haven't played it yet. I played the old version. I have like the the blue box version.
Yeah, I
played
played
the special edition.
I played the Wii U version. Yeah, I played that. I haven't. I want to buy this actually.
I jumped into this one. I haven't jumped into Bowser's Fury just yet, but I bought it specifically because this one has online co-op. So this is one of those. Yeah, this is one of those games where it reminds me back when I was at university and we were playing this with friends, and this is where it got to we got to an argument that was so heated that my friend nearly punched me in the face.
Because I can understand your friend's perspective on this one.
Because the thing is, right, I mean, bear in mind, he's good at basically every single video game, and I'm just like, oh, but platforming is the one thing that I can do, right? But then because I was like, I'm a good platformer in this game, if you run too far ahead, you just drag everyone with you.
Yes.
So I used to just be that guy that would just be like, drag them, and they fall down the hole, and they're like, you're ruining the experience. I'm like, it's fine, I'll get you to the end. It's like, this is not the point. And then obviously when we heard there was online co-op, we were like, well, we've got to relive those moments. So we played. Co-op seemed to work really well. There was a couple of little laggy bits and stuff, but yeah, generally speaking, the fact that you can now do that with 4 players online is very nice.
And you can still drag them forward by running ahead. That's amazing.
And you can pick up your friends and you can throw them off the edge.
Yeah.
So it's funny because Nintendo are a family-driven company who are all about bringing people together, but these games, they'll put a divide in your family. This and Mario Party, it's like you will ruin relationships, you will ruin friendships, you will just like fall out with people. It's it's dangerous.
I want to get this because I have played the first one on the Wii, but they've made a few updates to this that I think are pretty interesting. Like your character speed, you actually move faster in the updated version on the Switch, which I think will just make it a little more dynamic, a little more fun.
Sure, yeah,
it's just a little faster, And also, from what I've seen, Bowser's Fury looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's more of like a N64 Mario kind of style thing where you're in more of a open world. I don't know, actually maybe more like the GameCube one, where you're in more of an open world, and Bowser comes and he's like this big huge Bowser, and you got to collect these little like kitten coins or whatever to level up to be as big as him to fight him. It looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely looks almost like an expansion that would kind of just fit like on the side of Odyssey more than it would 3D World. So the fact that they've kind of thrown this in is fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick that up, play through it.
Yeah. It's funny, I've been buying a lot of Switch games lately. Like it's turned into my kind of platform of choice for
Switch is great.
So good.
And I've been trying to get like physical editions of the games too, because that's been a lot of fun. Just like you try and track down some of your favorite games, the physical edition, and some of these games are already like hundreds of dollars. Like I've been trying to find a copy of Blasphemous for the Switch.
Which
is a game I really liked, and that thing is already retailing for like $130, $140.
Really?
Yeah, wow. And that thing came out at like 30, like 35.
Yeah. I wonder how much Dead Cells is going for now, because I've got the collector's edition for that one.
I think you could still buy Dead Cells at retail, so I probably not. I don't know. Maybe if you got a collector's edition, I don't know.
Yeah, give it a year. What's the latest news on the Switch Pro? We need
no news.
That's actually gone pretty quiet to the point where like people are almost saying because Nintendo have just announced, obviously there's the Monster Hunter Switch and they just released the Mario one as well. Yeah. It's almost like rumors surrounding that have sort of just fizzled out.
Dan, do you think it's the semiconductor problem in the world right now is affecting that? Most likely,
could be
right?
that. Also, why upgrade something that sells out it sells more than you can put out? Like it's the number one selling console by a long shot, even though the PS5 and Xbox Series X are.
I feel like if they're going to do it anyway, they might still just wait and just like do it with Breath of the Wild 2, because Breath of the Wild obviously ran really well on the Switch anyway, but there were some areas where it's kind of framey anyway. So maybe if they were going to do it, they'll be like, here's our big blockbuster game for the year, because obviously this year is all about 35th anniversary of Zelda, right? So maybe they'll be like, now we're going to give you the Pro and run something like that. Like it still could be. I still feel like there will be a time to do it, because you look at like the iterations through like DS, there were multiple different DSs, multiple different 3DSs. Nintendo know that they can still make a Pro. People will still go, if anything, it's fine because they make the Pro. People will still go and then buy all the older ones because they might be slightly cheaper. They don't, and then they'll also have the 3 different entry points, right? You'll have like kind of what they did with the DS in the end. You had almost the 2DS, which you could give to like a child because they could basically not break it. You then had the 3DS, and then you had the 3DS XL. Yep. You had all these different versions. So I feel like there's space for a Switch Pro at some point. But I guess that now doesn't necessarily make too much sense.
One rumor I had heard, probably I think it was late last year or early this year, was like these kind of projected specs of it that were not impressive. They were not that much better than what's in there now. And like to me, I could see Nintendo being like, with the PS5 coming out, with the Xbox Series X coming out, maybe we shouldn't just give a small bump in power. Let's wait and give it a slightly bigger bump in power so we can continue to get ports to our system.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just conjecture. Like that's just me making shit up. But like, I don't want like a small bump. I want a bigger bump. I also want like an OLED screen. Like I'd like a
see.
Like
that's
a pretty
more important
much,
to me. At this point, like the screen technology, I think is more important than the actual hardware. Like I definitely want an upgrade in the hardware, and so it can run potentially 4K handheld or something like that. Like that would be amazing. But
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Exactly, that might be pie in the sky type of stuff. So if they can maybe make 1080p even better, but have also a better screen, maybe updated hardware around that type of stuff, like the tactile experience, then that would
nicer speakers would be great.
Yeah, like that would be a great upgrade in my opinion.
I feel like when you think that the Vita had an OLED screen anyway, right? It's like I feel like an OLED screen would be nice. And then even if you just did like 1080p in handheld mode, and then there was one of the rumors which was like maybe there would be like a dock which is like a boost power dock where when it's docked you can like upscale 4K, like not true 4K, but like kind of like how PS4 did the checkerboard thing. Maybe they could do something like that, potentially. But yeah, I feel like Zelda could be a good catalyst for that though.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Man,
do you guys think they should stick with the Joy-Cons or stick with the Joy-Con idea but change the way they work, or just get rid of them entirely? Something like more like the Lite.
Still really, like even though I don't really use the Joy-Cons like separately is in their kind of like the way they market them, I still really like it. I still think it's like quite a cool thing that you can do. So I wouldn't want them to remove it.
I mostly like it because I could take them off and use something else.
Yeah,
like
true,
the Split Pad Pro.
That's also true.
I don't think they're going to deviate from the Joy-Cons until they like make a new platform, because it's like
I think people would go insane if they said, okay, none of your old Joy-Cons work on the new Switch. Switch. I think people would be pissed.
That would cause pandemonium in Nintendo world.
Yeah, and it's money for them. They can keep selling you new color Joy-Cons, and like idiots like me will keep buying them. So what can I say?
You need to have your Joy-Con set in the background, so you just have like lined up on the wall.
Oh, I do. They're in the drawer, all perfectly lined up in color.
Okay. Nice,
do they go from like? Are they like a rainbow where they like transition in color?
Sort of, yeah. And you know what I need to. I'll give you a sneak peek. I need to unbox this week.
Let's see it.
Well, I don't
Is that Hitman?
No, that's the wrong one. I'm gonna drop it.
No, that's Eric's.
Yeah, Eric's.
I've got a headset in, but you know what? Because when Nintendo sells something in red.
Oh,
you got one.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty. I like the look of that. I wish they had used more blue on the Switch itself. Like if the Switch itself was blue and the Joy-Cons were red, kind of like how the Joy-Con. What is that thing called? Like the little Joy-Con holder.
The
dock thing.
What is it called actually? Yeah, Joy-Con grip. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Joy-Con grip. Yeah, like I really like how the Joy-Cons look inside the Joy-Con grip, because the Joy-Con grip is blue, and it makes me think like if they made the Switch itself blue, then the Joy-Cons in the dock are red. I think the contrast to all those different colors would.
I'm okay with it because I love red, and it's a red Switch.
True enough.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect.
I was looking at one, and luckily for me, it went out of stock before I bought it.
Fair. I almost missed it. I like my normal shop. It was sold out. I was like, and then there's that one. So I want to unbox that this week. That'll be fun.
Are you gonna get the Monster Hunter Rise one too? Obviously, you are.
It's funny because although I'm like a massive Monster Hunter fan, I'm actually not for that. I'm buying the Rise Pro controller. But honestly, it really annoys me because Capcom have done this twice now. They did it for Generations and they did it for Rise. There's so much more they could have done with their custom Switch. For the dock, for starters, you look at the Animal Crossing one, they did a whole dock rework. They colored the whole thing. The Monster Hunter ones, they just put little icons around the Nintendo Switch logo. So it looks like I've basically done like a fan design where I've just put logos around it. And even on the console, it looks all right, but it's not that great. But the Pro Controller looks nice, so I've ordered that one. But honestly, the console, I was like, I don't need that. So,
what's the best special edition console they've ever made? Like anybody, not just Nintendo. Like we've had a lot. Like the green Halo Xbox was really cool. The Pokemon, the N64 that had like a Pokeball like on the top of it.
One of the cool ones. There was a 3DS, the Zelda one, but instead of it just being a print, it was actually had like a raised shield on it. It had like
I've seen that. That looks really good.
That one was super cool.
Yeah, they did a lot of cool stuff with the 3DS.
Yeah.
I bet it's hard to be like a Nintendo 3DS collector. I bet a lot of that stuff gets expensive quick.
See, I could see them doing basically following that lineage with the Switch, because you got the Switch Lite already. Then you have regular Switch, and I could see a Switch Pro just being a little bit of an upgrade, kind of like PS4 to PS4 Pro, like that type of lineage. So it's all the games can still play on the platform regardless of what console you own and for the future. But you're just getting these upgrades visually and also maybe feel wise from the screen wise.
The technology they're using too, they're basically using NVIDIA Tegra processors, so they can just keep popping new fresh ones in there and just keep upgrading it because they're still making. I mean, they're on when did the Switch come out? It came out 4 years ago, right?
4 years, yeah.
And it was a mildly outdated Tegra processor when it came out. So now, like, they've got way faster ones that they could pop into there.
Yeah,
NVIDIA is no slouch on the technology side.
No, they're not. Yeah, I really like the Switch. Like, I don't.
Me too.
Yeah,
I don't play it as much, but every time I do, I'm always really enjoying it. And right now, Memes is playing Hades on it, and so she's been hogging my Switch. Nice. But she's like,
you don't have two Switch household yet?
No, I never did because I was like,
seems like the Mario edition is the perfect time to jump into that.
I've been holding out on like a Switch Pro because I'm like, well, Switch Pro is probably around the corner. It's been 4 years. They're probably gonna do some sort of upgrade. Like it's gotta happen, right? And then here we are, and I'm like,
you're waiting for you. You've got to buy a Switch so they can announce the Switch Pro.
Yes, Tufty, come on. Why are you making it?
See,
why are you making this so hard on us? We all want the Switch Pro to come out. Why don't you just get it to happen?
I've been so close many times. I've been like, maybe I should just. And then I'm like,
what you
no,
should do in the
it's coming
interim
out.
is buy a Switch Lite because then you kind of get the great functionality, and it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, if you can find one in stock, that's the thing.
The stock issue, but also I'm just not really a fan of the Lite. Like, I want.
Why is that?
I don't know. I want all the features. I want to be able to pop the Joy-Cons off if I want to.
Fair enough.
Fuck those Joy-Cons. You know what I got to say about those Joy-Cons? Pop them off, leave them off.
No.
I don't feel as bad about the Joy-Cons.
You're gonna want the Joy-Cons because when they inevitably bring back the Zelda collections, they have Skyward Sword. You're gonna want to swing them around like this.
There you go.
I hope if they bring back Skyward Sword, I hope they fix
Speaking of which, that is my segue into the fact that this Sunday is the 35th anniversary of Zelda. See,
wow!
And there have been some recent, this Sunday, the 21st of February, and there have been some recent trademark listings. Australia registered trademarks for Wind Waker again and for Phantom Hourglass, which people are speculating could be the Wind Waker trilogy, with being Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. Because obviously, we think about last year was 35th anniversary for Mario. We got the collection that had 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. We also got 3D World and Bowser's Fury. We got some other Mario-related stuff. So I feel like they're going to go big on that. Plus, Grezzo, the guys that did Link's Awakening remake, and also, of course, in the past worked on like the ports for Ocarina of Time 3D, 3DS, Majora's Mask 3DS, and Four Swords. They are also hiring for like a new role, which we don't know specifically as Zelda, but people are thinking that maybe they might be working on, another title, which could be kind of cool.
I hope so.
I really hope so. Like, I want them to do. I mentioned this before, but I want them to do Minish Cap in Link's Awakening style, because that would just visually it would just be such a good match, or just give us another Four Swords because we haven't had Four Swords for ages.
Yeah.
And then also the other rumor was there was an Australian retailer that listed Breath of the Wild 2 for Q2 2021 and then took it down. So Q2. I mean, June? which is still quite close given we haven't seen much. I don't know whether I believe that too much, but the last rumors I heard was sort of like Breath of the Wild for summer. So maybe they're waiting for we haven't had a direct in a while. Maybe they're waiting for like a big direct where they can say, it's 35th anniversary Zelda. We'll just drop a bunch of trailers on you and then. Because when you think about the slate for this year in general for a lot of games, we still don't know when things are coming. Like we know Kena Bridge of Spirits is supposed to be next month, but we don't know when. We don't know anything beyond like potential windows. So if Nintendo were like, all right, here's your slate for the next 6 months, like, all right, cool. Because then if they bring back things like Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, I mean, they already did Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD on Wii U. And when you look at it, what they've been doing is taking a lot of Wii U titles and just bringing them to Switch because they didn't get the time in the sun. Skyward Sword would be the obvious addition. So yeah, it could be it's gonna be a good way. It should be a good year if you're a Zelda fan, basically.
I hope so. Yeah. It may be also next year is a good year for us if we're Zelda fans, because all the shit just gets kind of pushed because of COVID.
True.
Zelda in the summer would be amazing.
That would be so good.
I mean, Zelda anytime would be amazing, but I think a summertime Zelda would be especially awesome. I'd really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not a November Zelda.
Yeah, yes. I don't want November. Like,
I was initially worried it was going to be a March Zelda because it like obviously Breath of the Wild came out in March, and I was like, don't do it next to Monster Hunter, please. And I was like, well, there is. I mean, I would hate to be proven wrong. Actually, no, please don't prove me wrong. But it's too soon. Like, there's no way it can be March unless they just literally drop an announcement tomorrow and say it's coming out next month. I would be equal points happy and also cry. But summer would be great. Like summer is always the drought of gaming. So give us,
When is the next Nintendo Direct? Do we have do they know? Have they said
we don't know. It's been too long since they've had one, and also like there was. Damn it, my computer just blue screened again.
Oh my god, Briar.
There's also a bunch of games were just leaked because they were rated by the ESRB. So there's a bunch of games coming. So it's like everybody's waiting for the next Nintendo Direct. Like, where is this thing? When's it coming? You know, we know you guys got a bunch of shit to announce. We want to see what's in there.
It's like COVID has changed things, obviously, and I feel like launch windows have changed dramatically in the past 2-3 years as well. So 5 years, really. So what do you think the possibility is they do just suddenly say, you know what, Breath of the Wild 2 is happening next month?
Oh my god, I'd be so happy. I not only would I be happy to get a new Zelda, but to watch Eric squirm. That would be the other part.
I don't think the thing is I wouldn't even squirm. I think the sheer amount of work I would have to do would probably just kill me. I think I might actually just be dead.
Well, that would make me sad.
I know, right? I would just be like, I can't quite make these 300-hour Monster Hunter tutorials and play Zelda. I'm going to die.
It would be rough, man, having those jammed close to each other. But I guess like the question is, are they going for long, release windows, hype phases? It doesn't feel like they need to.
No.
Nintendo, I feel like, like a lot of this, the industry for not for everyone. Like, if you're like a Final Fantasy studio, you still like to make people wait 10 years. But apart from that, generally speaking, a lot of companies these days, like I think they realize, like, gone are the days of like announce a game and wait 3 years for it. Like a lot of people, you look at when Switch came out, like most of the games, bar say like Metro and things like that, would generally like announce it, and then within about 6 to 8 months, you've kind of got that game. So they have a very limited sort of like run window, which I think is definitely more so, the common sort of ground now. Like people just sort of, we think back to years ago, we would genuinely look at a game for like 3 threes and then finally we play it. Whereas now it's like, you see it, you get it, kind of thing. So I see that. I think that's where the industry's going.
Do you feel like Nintendo does a good job of managing fan expectations when it comes to titles, or no?
How that's an impossible job.
Well, if you announce
there's a new Zelda coming, or even if there's a rumor of a new Zelda coming, speculation is going to run wild about what that could mean. Is it going to be like a rework of Breath of the Wild, like Majora's Mask was? Is it going to just be?
But here's the thing: they can't control rumors. Like that's obviously impossible. They're not going to be able to control that stuff. But their messaging, like they can control when they say a title is announced and then actually gets launched. And I feel like the shorter windows for very popular games is a lot healthier for the fan base as opposed to being like as opposed to just chomping at the bit for 4 years wondering what the hell's happening to a project
like Metroid 4 Prime.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going for that. I mean, I'd be really interested to sort of see the numbers. Maybe it equates to more sales because maybe what happens is that like your hardcore audience, they'll happily wait 5 years for your game, but then maybe by the time 5 years have gone on, the casual people that would have bought it might have just been like, I forgot what this game was called. I can't even remember it. So maybe it translates to better sales. They're like, oh, this looks cool. Yeah, I'll put that. Or they'll be like, oh, this looks cool. I'll put it on my pre-order now because it's coming out in 3 to 6 months. Maybe that works better.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. I don't know. They're kind of across the board with it though. Like some games they talk about like way in advance. Some games they just pop right out. So and what is it? The what's the 3D World remake one that they just put out? That's only going to be available for a limited time.
Oh yeah, the Mario 64.
GameCube
Sunshine and Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird. I don't get. I mean, if people say, well, it creates demand, I don't really get that, to be honest. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just an experiment they're running, but it seems like a weird one. Like, and I kind of support that action. Like, I feel like if any company can be putting out remakes of old games on the Switch, Nintendo just has just the library to do it. Like, one of my favorite things on the Switch is the NES and Super Nintendo kind of library that you get. It's the reason I pay for their online service. I never play Nintendo Switch games online, but I pay for that service just because I want access to the NES and Super Nintendo library. I'd love to see like N64 come. I'd love to see more like all like we just saw the GoldenEye remake for the Xbox 360 leak. Like where would be a better place for that than on the Switch?
True.
God damn it, make some deals happen.
So you can aim and shoot with the Joy-Cons.
You just ruined it.
I just recently had that Nintendo Online thing charged for the first time. I forgot to cancel. I'm like,
it's only like $10 a year.
Is it $10 a year?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cheap, that one.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was $5 a month or something like that. Either way, I saw a charge pop up and I was like, crap, I forgot to, because the Monster Hunter Rise online stuff. And yeah, maybe I need to look more into that. Download those, get access to that library.
Yeah, the NES and the Super Nintendo collection is awesome because you also have like save states and all that stuff, so you can just you'll be playing like an old school hard as hell game. Just put your Switch down and pick it back up when it's convenient for you instead of leaving your NES on all night.
I totally would, except Memes is playing Hades day and night.
That's why you need two Switches. That's why you need a Mario Edition Switch with a.
It's true.
With a blue.
I need a Switch Pro, Briar. Stop it. That's what I need, man. Breath of the Wild 2 Edition Switch Pro.
You probably have a launch window Switch too, right? So the new Switches are better than the old ones are.
So it's basically a Switch Pro.
It's like it's a Switch Amateur. Better than you have a Switch Novice.
I got this Switch launch night from my GameStop.
A Switch enthusiast.
Yeah. Maybe the Switch Pro I won't be able to do. I'll have to do Best Buy, most likely, assuming it ever comes out.
The Pro?
Yeah.
Assuming it ever comes out. I mean, Nintendo basically said it's not coming anytime soon.
They did recently?
They just said that recently. Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, dashing my dreams. Maybe not coming anytime soon is like a month to 2 months window.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody knows how long soon means.
So you know what? Nintendo's doing an awful job of managing fan expectations. That's what this comes down to.
That's
all
the
right?
conclusion. I don't know. Like with all the 2D games that are coming out, like the kind of retro inspired games, it's always the perfect for that. There's so many handheld games. Streets of Rage 4, it was a perfect console for that. I don't know. It's a fun console.
Yeah, it's the one as well where like when we can finally travel again, like it's my favorite. I mean, obviously you can't take the other consoles with you properly, but it's my favorite sort of thing. Like I like traveling and kind of just going through. Like the one thing I keep doing on my Switch is that recently there was like loads of new indie games that were announced to release and stuff, and like I don't have time to play them right now, but I just buy them so that they're on my home screen, so that eventually when I finally get to travel or I have a holiday, I'll just sit down on the sofa and just play, because like the nice thing about most indie games, you can complete them in like 8 to 10 hours, so you can get through a few of them. So I love just like piling those games on there.
Yeah.
See, that's the you saying when you travel. I mean, when I walk downstairs, like I'm traveling with the Switch.
When I make it all the way to the living room.
Yeah.
When I make my commute from the bedroom to the office, that's travel right there.
It is. It's true. It's true.
Got Netflix on the screen, sitting on the couch. I mean, you travel to the couch, you got to play a Switch game.
I do play it. That's where I mainly play it. Like, we'll have the TV on. My wife's watching something that I'm not particularly interested in, so I'll just boot up the Switch and start playing a game.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing that with Genshin on the iPad Pro because the 1.3 update gave you controller access now, so you can finally play Genshin with the controller on there. And I've been pretty addicted to that.
Yeah,
I'm always logging in. I'm spending my resin. I'm doing my dailies. I'm upgrading random crap. I'm like, looking at different ways to get different artifacts, to get those upgraded, and look at the stats. It's got its hooks in me, man. Yeah,
that's cool.
Mm-hmm. There's another game I haven't played yet that has been like picking up a lot of steam. And in fact, recently they just said that they sold 2 million copies on Steam.
Oh,
is early access Valheim. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys played it yet?
No, I'm curious about it.
I haven't yet. Some of the guys on the team have played it. We are checking it out this week, but I haven't personally had a chance to jump in myself just yet. But it's interesting because it's more appealing to me than some of the other ones because obviously it ticks off that kind of survival aspect of the gameplay, but it's more so cooperative survival versus say like Rust, where it's like PvP. People are going to come and like steal your stuff and just like slaughter your base. And obviously it's steeped in like Vikings and Norse mythology and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of things that are quite interesting in it. It seems to have like quite an extensive sort of base building element to it. There's like bosses and stuff you can summon. So it sounds interesting. It
does sound interesting.
Yeah, visually, it's pretty low kind of fidelity and whatnot. But
yeah, the comparison is like Minecraft meets Viking type of stuff. Like and that sounds fun. Like Minecraft can look like crap, and I don't mind because like the actual experience of survival and all that is fun. And apparently this scratches that itch. I really should play the game before I actually start talking about it to give like a real perspective on it. But it's just fascinating how this went from kind of being just some random game on Steam to then catching wind on streams, like the streamers picking it up.
Yeah.
And then now I think it was last week they had crossed 1 million sales on Steam.
That's
and
great.
Then this week they're like, okay, we doubled our sales. I could be wrong with those numbers, but something to that effect where it's basically exploded. Like a sensational explosion like overnight. Like not truly overnight,
I wonder if some of these games exploding the way they did has anything to do with lockdown, right? Because if you think about it, right? I mean, okay, Fall Guys is different because Fall Guys is like a bigger budget and stuff, but like kind of it still blew up anyway. But you look at like Among Us, which was obviously it was around for a long time, but then suddenly again got picked up and then like blew up as well. I wonder if it's almost whether we're in lockdown. A lot of games because their release windows have been pushed out, so suddenly we're in these weird gaming voids. I feel like it's maybe in that position where people are just like looking on Steam trying to find something to play, and they're like, oh yeah, when sometimes you say to your friends, like, just download this, we'll see what it's like, and then you're like, wait, this is a lot of fun. I always feel like maybe because of like the situation we're in, is giving these games a chance to be discovered because they're not being just swamped by AAA titles. Yeah,
I wonder. It's difficult to have perspective in the COVID era of what something being popular, like would it have been popular pre-COVID and all that, and like with the other titles getting released. It's tough to say. I feel like Among Us was a perfect storm of different stuff. Like the fact that you could lie to your friends and then turn that into YouTube content. I feel like that was the perfect YouTube game. It's like the Gary's Mod 2.0 type of thing.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's good that it's got picked up though. It's definitely it definitely does sound interesting and look quite cool. And like I mean the Viking angle, the kind of mythology angle as well.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you've got these little kind of folklore bosses and stuff. It sounds pretty cool.
It's kind of this low res but somewhat charming look to it. Like I don't dislike the way it looks.
Yeah, I'm down with low res type of like old school looking stuff, so long as the gameplay is really fun. And apparently the gameplay on this is very addicting. Like a good survival game can really hook you. With the gameplay, like Minecraft. Once you had the idea behind Minecraft solved in your brain of how you achieve survival and build things bigger and bigger, that game became very addicting. A lot of people obviously felt that way for a long time. So I could see something like Valheim if it is in that era or that side. Yeah, it is early access though, as Darth noted in chat. So I don't know how long it's going to be in early access, and I don't know. I think it's like 5 main bosses that you can get to until you reach the wall of early access. So who knows?
Do things actually come out of early access? I'm not aware of that.
That's the thing, right? Is this perpetually forever early access? You're never going to actually see the end of this thing, right? You're muted. Eric's, I think.
Am I?
Oh, you just said something and didn't hear it.
Oh no, I was mumbling.
It was the mumble mute. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll be interested to sort of see if you check it out this week, like what you think of it next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might load it up this week. We'll see. Speaking of this week, is there anything on your guys' list for this week?
I got to build a fight stick, I think. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm just going to order all the parts up and get them over here.
Nice.
Do
it, man.
Yeah, I'm going to play Guilty Gear without a fight stick for now until I think I need to buy a new one. So definitely, it's weird because I like playing most fighting games with fight sticks, but there's some 2D ones that I'm better on pad with. So yeah, I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Guilty Gear will be good because there's the first beta was quite limited on characters. This one's got 13, and there'll be 15 in the full game. So there's just the newly revealed one, and also who was the other one? I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, 13 characters, some nice cool ones there, mixture of old characters, new characters. Definitely give it a shot if you haven't. Like Guilty Gear is one of those things where I love fighting games. Like I'm not hugely good at them. I just enjoy them. But I always want them to get, they've got quite a sort of niche following. I mean, obviously the FGC is huge in its own right, but it's still in the grand scheme of things, more niche than other things. And I would love for Guilty Gear, because that's what they're trying to do with this. They're trying to make it slightly more accessible by kind of simplifying the combo system. So if you get a chance, give it a shot, because it's such a fantastic game.
Nice.
So yeah, that's on my radar this week.
Cool. I think Valheim will be on my radar. Give it a shot.
Yeah. I also want to get around to Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, I do want to play that too, but I have to get the Switch back.
You should just get another Switch.
You buy the Mario Switch. It comes with it.
No. Where am I going to get another Switch?
Are they in stock at Best Buy right now? I'm going to look it up.
I'm still trying to get an Xbox Series X.
No, don't worry about that.
Good luck.
There's no games on the Series X, whereas there's lots of games on the Switch.
Literally,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
0.
Get a Series X. Wait until Halo comes out, because then you can buy the Halo Series X.
Right. Yeah.
Which you're gonna want.
It'll be in the shape of an energy sword.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Whereas whereas the Switch, you buy it, so many games. It would be a valuable investment.
Oh yeah, they got them in stock. Best Buy has them in stock.
Look at that. Perfect.
What?
Do it. Yeah. You can go today. You could go right now, and you can have it in half an hour. You'll be back.
Oh my god, you guys are a bad influence. Right. What about?
I don't think you can get that Mario one though. That Mario one might be hard to get.
Hey, this isn't a Switch Lite, is it?
No, regular old Switch with the blue and the red Joy-Con.
Oh, regular one. Okay.
Unavailable nearby. Oh yeah. Okay.
Wait, you can get the Animal Crossing one.
Oh, I don't own Animal Crossing.
Oh,
that would be perfect. Ben.
That would be perfect.
I don't think does it come with the game?
And when you're playing Animal Crossing, you can play multiplayer. So both you and Memes can have houses on the same island. So you see, you can.
Okay. Wait, it comes with a game, right? For Animal Crossing.
Yeah, the Animal Crossing version will come with the
right? Wouldn't that be?
I don't think it does.
No, the Animal Crossing one will come with it. Yeah. It should come with it digital. If it's the Animal Crossing version.
Yeah, I only do digital. I'm not trying to get the cartridges. I could care less about that.
Okay. And then you can both socially play Switch. Look at that. See.
Maybe just might do that.
We should end the podcast right now so you can go and buy it right now.
Yeah, in case it sells out.
That's right.
It could sell out. Exactly. There might be someone
just sold them out. Never mind.
Yeah,
they're all gone.
There might be someone in chat literally about to go standing outside Best Buy. You got to beat him to it.
All right. Well, I think that's the episode, right? For DCP SideQuest.
SideQuest complete.
There you go.
Arrivederci.
Hey.
Rigatoni.
Marabella.
Francois Marabella. Thank you very much for watching, listening, hanging out today for SideQuest number 82. We appreciate everyone. If you're a Patreon member, thank you very much for the support. And if you're a Twitch sub, thanks for the support as well. We enjoy making podcasts. And Eric's, where can people find you?
You can find me over on Twitter at Arix or YouTube at Arix Gaming, where this week I will have a video on Guilty Gear because I'm excited for it.
Nice.
Right. I'll open the Mario Switch as well. There you go.
I got a couple of good videos coming out on YouTube this week. Be sure to check me out on YouTube. at the Briar Rabbit.
Awesome. And I'm Teft Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. And I do have some YouTube content planned. It's taking a little bit longer. So soon, TM.
Nice.
And maybe the DCP crew will do a little Valheim action.
That sounds like fun to me.
We'll see. That would be cool.
We got to go in. It's got to be our first time in. If we go in, we got to go in completely blind.
Yeah?
I think so.
I'm willing to make that commitment so long as it's not like 2-3 weeks out. It's got to be relatively
It's got to be
soon.
like within the next few days. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next time for another show. Actually, I guess Fire and Range this week. TCP later. More SideQuest episodes coming in the future. Bye, everyone.
Marabella.
Marabella out.